you for sparing the time. Would you just tell us a bit about you and your businesses?
Sure. Okay. So my name's Warren Shute. I'm a chartered financial planner, a certified financial planner, and I run Lexington Wealth Management, which is a comprehensive financial planning firm. And I also have an education business that runs under the umbrella of the Money Plan and warrenshute.com.
So, how long has your business been going, Lexington Wealth?
I started as a financial planner around about 2000. So an initial relationship was with a network, Barclay Independent Advisors, and then later on was directly authorised to the regulator. So 20 years this year.
Yeah, what were you doing before that?
Before that, I started my career in 1995 at Pearl Assurance. I had about 2 years with Pearl Assurance, then I joined Intralliance, and I was one of the early members of Intralliance. I think it was like number 25 or something, working down in West Byfleet, and had about 2 or 3 years with them before Lexington was set up.
Right, I see.
So,
And how many clients do you look after at the moment?
we look after in total, there's about 160 families. Okay. They are segmented to around about 60 financial planning clients, which offer an ongoing service, which we class as our wealth management service, and about 100 that are classed as asset management. They've all been onboarded, they've all been engaged the same, so they've all had a financial plan. There's no difference in the onboarding process, just the ongoing service that differentiates. The wealth management clients, the financial planning clients get an ongoing service where they're met every year. The asset management clients do not get that ongoing service. It's as and when they require it, so they contact us.
Do they still go through the Truth cash flow plan?
Yeah, everybody has a Truth financial plan. The initial stages, the discovery meeting, the investment meeting, the financial planning meeting, are all identical. It then separates whether they want an ongoing relationship. And typically those clients have either got £500,000 of assets or more, or pay us a retainer fee to the equivalent. And if they don't have that and they don't wish to do that, they then go down to the asset management service, whereby they still get communicated to. We still keep a relationship going with them. We still report to them every year about their investments, etc. But they wouldn't go through the Truth system again, or the financial planning process, until they contacted us. So a good example is I engaged someone on this sort of service probably about 4 years ago, and he's now coming up to retirement. He contacted me, and he's now going back through the Truth system.
Right, I see. Okay. Um, why did you start the money plan, and when did you start the money planning? I think it's fairly recent, isn't it?
So the money plan now is about 3 years old, I think, 3 or 4 years old. I started with Lexo. So I started with wanting to provide direct to consumer advice for the mass market. I realized that my own firm was taking on more and more affluent individuals, clients, and they're very, very nice individuals, lovely individuals. But I realized that the people who really needed good financial planning advice didn't ever feel they were wealthy enough, or didn't necessarily have the confidence to come into a financial planner's office. So I kind of wanted to reach out to those and to reciprocate, to give back really to those. So we started with an online investment platform and a website, which is called warrenshute.com. It gives all the education information material. We have a podcast and such. Then I wrote the money plan book, and then it's kind of just gone from there really, where we now have a corporate education program where we go into companies and train their staff on general money management and financial planning skills. Very, very basic level information, but really, really well received. People love it. And I now have the column in the Sunday Mirror, and we write for other national and local press, and lots of radio, and now getting into the TV side of things as well. And the outcome for me in doing that is to raise awareness of this amazing profession of financial planning, and to get more people to realize that, oh, there is another way than actually just buying a pension or just buying some life insurance. There can actually be a structure behind it, and actually this is pretty good. I like it. So that's why I do it really.
And do you know how many people you've reached so far? Do you know how far and wide the money plan's gone?
I don't. In respect to book sales and things, you mean? Oh, I don't. It's in the thousands. It's in the thousands. It's probably about 2,500, 3,000, I think, something along those lines. It's really interesting because I work with the same guy who worked with Martin Lewis, and at the very beginning, my goal was to. Someone told me most new books don't sell more than 200 copies. So I thought, okay, that's my goal. Let's say 250 copies. I'm done there. And then when he was telling me how many books that Martin sold and stuff, I was like, oh god, that's a little bit a pip in the ocean, really. But yeah, it's going well. It's gone far better than I initially expected. It's not always been easy. I think I enjoy the presentations the most. I like going into companies. I like standing in front of their employees and giving them a round up of what benefits they've got, but also telling them the basics of how to run their banking and how to sort out their will and their power of attorneys, and just really being able to answer questions for them from a third party. So
I think that's brilliant. I mean, it's really funny how many consumers nowadays don't understand what interest rates are necessarily,
mm,
and don't understand the effect that an overdraft rate might have, you know,
yeah,
and what's the
yeah.
point in putting money into an ISA anymore? And those sort of silly things, about the different pots of money and how, we charge for those different pots of money. Consumers aren't really given the tools to help navigate their way around that, are they?
It's the basics. They're not given any help to navigate their way around that, and it's the basics really they need help with. We have wonderful apps now that will allow us to trade online and buy this share, buy that share, do spread betting, that kind of thing, but we have very little at the basic level. And it's the basic level. If they can get their cash inflows and cash outflows under control, and they can then start saying, okay, well, now I'm going to start creaming some off and overpay on my debt, and now I'm going to start investing. You've got half of the job done. Sort the will out, sort the power of attorney out, and they're done, really. It's really the basics that you need. And it's lovely to see their face when you show them a system, a process to do this. So I must say I enjoy working with those individuals as much as the clients that come into Lexington Wealth. It's a completely different skill set. You're not talking about tapered annual allowances and lifetime allowances and inheritance tax and stuff. You're talking more about managing money, putting a plan together, and also setting goals. So few people have goals and things to look forward to. And I think as a good financial planner, whether the client walks in with a couple of £1 million of assets or walks in with several £100,000 worth of debt, it's really like trying to get them to wake up and say, we're not on a rat race here going round in motions. What's your outcome? What's your goal? What do you want to really achieve? What gets you up in the morning? I think that's the beauty of financial planning. It's a hybrid between coaching and just financial advice. It's really trying to get the clients to live the life that they want. And it's not asset gathering. That's the thing. It's not just gathering assets.
That's quite, I mean, it's a thing that we're sort of familiar with within Truth, within Prestwood and so on. But for you to secure that Sunday Mirror column, where
Yeah.
to people who are a bit sniffy about financial planners, to be honest, the media don't like financial planners. How did you break through that barrier?
Yeah. Persistence. And it was persistence, honestly. There have been so many things in the pipeline that haven't come off. Honestly, so many things. I was so close to doing so many things, it just never come off. And then eventually one of them comes off. So it's being true to yourself. What they want is another Martin Lewis. They want someone who's going to just talk about how to save money, how to get cash refunds, and how to do this, that with the bank charge stuff. And that's not what financial planning is. And I will not go down that route, and I never have done. And I think I've probably discounted myself from a few opportunities in doing that. But my outcome isn't to be on TV. My outcome isn't to have a column in the paper. My outcome is to get the name of financial planning to the masses. So it's a bit more of a household name. You understand what an accountant does and what a solicitor does, but we don't really know what a financial planner does. So if I start murkying the water by trying to get people cash refunds on their flights, they're just going to get confused when they go and see the next certified financial planner or what have you. So it's really about raising the awareness of financial planning and really getting people to understand how helpful and beneficial it is, but also what a great profession it is. You know, we've got redundancies going through the roof in the UK at the moment, and students coming out of university not knowing which way to look. If they just would consider financial planning as a long-term serious profession, it really gives us a lot more credibility.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. What's your next objectives for the next, say, 3 years?
To get to secure a TV deal. That's basically it. So the next real objective on the money plan side is to secure a regular TV deal, which will do financial planning on TV. So it really takes it to the household name. I would like to write a few more books. Probably only get one in the next 3 years. And then on Lexington's side, just keep growing Lexington, you know, because I really, really enjoy sitting down with a client, whether it's a new client or an existing client, and doing financial planning with them. And I don't think I'll ever give up Lexington or stop being a financial planner, at least, because there's a lot of enjoyment in it. There's a lot of enjoyment. I enjoy the conversations with clients about what they're working towards, what they're achieving, and hearing back from them. And that if we were just investment advisors and we're just gathering assets, you're at the whim of the market. You know, the market does well, they pat you on the back. The market doesn't do well, and it's a commodity. You know, you're going to be squeezed on price, and there's no real fulfillment in it unless your outcome is just to get rich. But to have a fulfilling career, to have a career whereby you can sort of you know, enjoy the company of your clients and enjoy sharing their hopes and their dreams. That's financial planning, really. So that's what I really enjoy about it. So next 3 years, really develop the money plan side of things, the education side of things, but with Lexington Wealth, really just carrying on with what we're doing. Good financial planning.
That's fantastic. Is there anything that you wanted to add to this, Warren?
Um,
What about the awards and stuff that you've won? You know, what?
I'm lucky. Yeah, I've been very, very fortunate. I've been very, very fortunate. I entered the Financial Planner of the Year award a number of years ago, and that kind of coincided with the launch of my book around this. It was just before my book came out, and I was very lucky, very fortunate to win that because I know some very good financial planners have applied to these entrants. And
How much did you pay?
do you know what? They gave me such a hard time. Such a hard time. Anyone who goes for these Financial Planner of the Year awards, they are 100% worth it. Okay, 100% worth it, because you learn from yourself when you present your plan and what you put in, and you get feedback. So you learn by doing it. And sitting in front of a panel of other professionals, challenging your advice in prodding you a little bit, and they're kind, you know, they're kind, but they're prodding you and stuff. You really have to justify what you're doing and stuff. And so I recommend everyone does it. I've been very lucky since to sit on as a judge of the Financial Planner of the Year award. So I'm the guy now who marks the papers and who sits on the other side. And I make sure I give them a little bit of a prod and a little bit of thing, because it wasn't easy for me to achieve. And I had 5 judges on my panel, and now we only have 3. So I have to try and make up for the missing 2. But I've got that. And then a couple of years ago, I won the David Norton Building Excellence Award, which was fantastic, which really meant a lot to me, because I remember meeting David and listening to what he used to do. And in my early days, he was an inspiration, along with Paul Etheridge, on how to build my practice. So yeah, it was really great with that. But completely different awards. Financial Planner Year is very much financial plan based, advice based, case study based. David Norton Award was very much around the practice as a whole and what you're doing and where you're moving forward and what you want to achieve and things like that. So yeah, two great awards. I'm very, very pleased to have won them. Yeah, it's great.
So what's the award you're going for next year?
Well, part of the David Norton Award is that you would then work towards becoming an accredited financial planning firm, which Lexington isn't at the moment. So I am currently on the Brett Davidson course, which is a prize of the David Norton Award, which is actually really, really good. It's really interesting because I've known Brett now for must be over 10 years, because I can remember meeting him at one of Paul Etheridge's financial planner courses that I was on and having a chat to stuff. But I'm very much of the mindset that there are some excellent people out there, but if you model or replicate everyone, you'll have a mismatch. What you really need to do is find someone who's good, find someone who's doing it, and then follow it. And for me, that was Paul Etheridge. I looked at what he did. I trained with him as much as I could. And I've been very fortunate to now have a very good financial planning practice based on his principles. So I feel I have a good core, and I never really bothered to look any further into Brett. But now I've won this with Brett. I'm really enjoying working with Brett. And he's kind of, if I'm fair, lots of the same principles, but kind of just added a few other things on there as well, which I guess is just evolution. It's just time. It's now 2020. So, so
we all move on. Our business
yeah.
practices change, don't they?
Well, it's technology. It's just like we are now. I think I was saying to you off air before we started that I can really see Zoom or Teams, whatever your software provider is, really taking off in future. During lockdown, I was amazed that I had an initial call. I had an introduction from an accountant. I had an initial call with the client the next day. I had a discovery meeting about 3 days later, and then a planning meeting about 6 weeks after that, all via Zoom. And they parted with a lot of money to us, never met us. I feel the relationship's very, very strong, really, really good. And they're in South London, and I'm up here in Wiltshire, and it would have ordinarily taken them over 2 hours probably to get to me door to door, whereas now geography wasn't a condition for them. They were okay. They just were more interested in choosing the right planner as opposed to making sure logistics were right. We have clients travel to our office from all over the UK, and I can really see them carrying on with the Zoom sort of process, and it works really well for us. We're really enjoying it.
Because you've invested in super duper broadband.
Well, you know what? I got caught short. At the beginning, I didn't. In the beginning, we just used the broadband for the office and stuff. But when the office team were working on it, and at the time I had my children working from home, and that shares the broadband, and they were on Teams, it was struggling. So we needed to solve that. And all I actually do have is a 4G router, so actually a wireless broadband. And that just works the treat. So yeah, we have enough broadband connection now, and yeah, it works well. It works really well. I like it.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to me.
Oh, you're welcome. No, thank you. Thanks for asking me.